Winter is the windy season. This week is no different. Another blow came through the Keys, but this time bringing with it some of the coldest weather we have seen in 2 years. This is that beautiful calm before the storm.
Tigers, you're fast. Come on, Tiger.
If you saw last week's video, you will be glad to know Tiger has made a full recovery.
Boots on. No more boots in years.
I'm just gonna put my thing right there.
Yep.
In case you don't want it. Yeah, I'm just wearing a rain jacket. Short pants.
Hey Chase,
Short sleeves.
will you sit over there and let Carter? All right, so go for this ride. Not get wet. You got it.
Stay dry.
You got it.
I got 2 jackets. One is just to keep the other from getting wet.
The National Weather Service has issued a small craft advisory in the vicinity of the Straits of Florida, Hop Channel, Gulf waters, including the Dry Tortugas and Florida Bay. Northwest to north winds 20 to 25 knots, seas 6 to 10 feet across the Straits of Florida, and
We are a family of 5 from Texas who sold everything to live full-time on our 1987 Marine Trader Tradewinds 47. We have 3 boys, Carter, Chase, and Caleb. We also have 2 cats aboard, Cheddar and Tiger. For 2 years, we have enjoyed cruising, exploring, beautiful sunsets, loads of family fun, and brotherly bonding. We also enjoy exploring the water, snorkeling and diving. In the Florida Keys, the Bahamas, and who knows where to next. We want to say a special thank you to all of our patrons.
Been blowing, what, 30 to 40 knots pretty much since last night. We've had multiple boats drag. Several boats have pulled anchor and left because they've drug and got too close to other boats. I was just checking all of our ground tackle, all of our anchoring and all that, like I do. And this morning I started to notice a slight chafe in our snubber line. It's gotten a little more chafed as the day has gone on, and so I was hoping we could make it through this blow, and then when it was calm I could change it, but that's not how boat life works. And, we're going to go out there and change it out now, because there's no way I'll be able to sleep tonight knowing that it's starting to chafe through and it's already gotten through one of the cords.
It is absolutely freezing. I got a ton of seals and blankets and pillows, and I'm still freezing.
So if this one is long enough, I'll use this. If it's not long enough, I'm going to double up on the skinnier ones. At least it's sunny, not raining. First thing I had to do was choke up on the snubber so I could reach the hook to get it off the chain. You got to take your time when you do this and let the boat swing back and forth, and then one side will get slack, the other side will get tight. So take your time and work with the boat. Then you got to use a rolling hitch to attach your spare line on the downward side of your hook. That'll take the pressure off of the snubber so you can change it. Normally I would just use one thicker line, but I don't have a thicker line on board, so I'm going to use two thinner lines. Found my midpoint, stuck it through, wrapped it around, so that way it'll keep that in place. If you just put one line through here, then it'll ride back and forth, and it'll chafe right through the line. So this keeps it from chafing. That last line we've had on 6 months, a year, and it's been a long time before it finally developed a little bit of a chafe.
The purpose of a snubber, also known as a bridle, is to take the pressure off of your windlass. What you want to do is spread the weight between two big cleats that are attached to the boat. My snubber line with chain hook is the one that's closer to the boat. The secondary line out farther was the rolling hitch I put on just to take the pressure off the chain while I did the change out. As you can see here, my chain is hanging nice and loose, so there's no pressure on my windlass, and all the pressure goes up those lines to the cleats.
The winds and waves shift around to the east or blow out just as fast as they blow in. We're always keeping an eye on the weather and ready for whatever comes.
Let me go press scissors, boys.
I got it, Dad. I got it right.
You got a pocket knife?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Mine was pre-cut open.
What?
What is it?
Unshakable.
Nice.
Puppy stuff. I'm gonna make it louder.
Bag? Mesh bags? Three of them?
I have two. Chest is full of snacks.
Full of chips.
Nice.
Hey, boys.
I can't eat these.
Why?
Those have got Dad's name all over them.
No, plus they're grape flavored. I can't eat these either.
So this was totally unexpected for me. It may not look like much to y'all, but this is huge for me. We got some extra inline fuel filters, a couple extra oil filters, an impeller, a raw water pump, and a hose. And this is from Mark and Stephanie. Apparently they used to have our same generator on their boat, and they had to replace it, and they got something completely different, and these were leftover spare parts that are useless to them. So I will never turn down free spare parts. Yes, thank
Unless you got 500,000 of them.
You never do. So thank you so much for those. Those would be definitely. Hopefully they won't come in too handy, but it's nice to know they're there if we need them.
This is from our family in Texas we knew. They used to babysit us. But they've given us all this cool stuff. A snack chest, a book, a game. They gave us this called Sling Puck.
Oh, did you see this? It says, for Chris only, not for the kids. Oh, that's nice.
What? I didn't. No, it doesn't.
I know.
No, it says to Carter.
To Chase and Kayla.
But this is so fun.
No,
Thank you,
no, it
Bishop
says,
family.
no, everybody. It says to open.
Thank you, Miss Aloha. Thank you for all of this stuff. It is. We don't even know what this game is, but I'm already looking forward to it.
Taco, cat, goat, cheese, pizza.
Don't
No,
get
it's
too close to the door. Do you think if you put it over the door, he'd jump?
No.
Probably. He's stupid.
And obese.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Talking from Our Aft.
Mm-hmm.
Today is a very special day. It's Jolene's 28th birthday.
You're sweet. It is my birthday today.
Happy birthday, babe.
Thank you. And tomorrow is Chris's birthday.
That's right. So, happy birthday to us.
Yes.
That being said,
Yep.
we want to get in this video and talk about some things, some questions that people have had. And specifically this week, we're going to talk about anchoring, living on anchor, and mailing address. So let's start with the mailing address, because we don't have
a house with a mailbox, do we?
No. So you saw in the video that we got packages, and we very much appreciate it. Thank you to the Bishop family. They also sent us these really cool new shirts. But we use a UPS box. So we just went up to Key Largo and we opened up a UPS box, and we use that for our mailing address on everything because the address looks like an apartment number.
Yep. Billing addresses for all the stuff like that.
Yep.
There are some other options. If you lived in a marina for a while
Yes.
and you're moving around or have a home base, some marinas will let you use them for your mailing address. That works out if they offer that service. Another option is if a good friend. You could use their friend's house that's nearby as your main address if they're willing to get mail for you. We've seen, heard of other cruisers doing both of those.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Let's talk about some other stuff as far as when it comes to living on anchor. It's a different mindset, right, when you're living on anchor?
Right. Well, the question was, do you stay on anchor during a storm? And so we want to answer that plus more.
Yeah, and you kind of saw in the video, like we had cold weather, we've had a blow.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff affects what you're doing when you're making decisions on anchor. And it's different. You don't just walk to your car and go to the grocery store. Like, you don't just turn on the heater. You know, we're in
Right.
South Florida. Our boat doesn't have heat
No.
because we only use it through 3 days a year, maybe.
In 2.5 years, we've
Yeah,
maybe
had a
used
dozen
it
days.
3 days, maybe.
More than that, but yeah, not very many.
Yeah,
And a lot, percentage-wise, it's nothing.
No.
So
not
we
worth
just
it.
get blankets and we bundle up. As far as weather goes, again, we've got a really good anchor. We've got a good anchoring situation here with the ground, and so we know it's good holding.
You still need to be prepared because we saw in these storms, we've seen people drag, we've seen people hit, we've seen collisions. This last storm was terrible. We won't go into it, but it was just terrible. There was FWC, sheriff's, towboat, life flight, like all over the place for 3-4 days. So you have to make wise choices. Even if it's okay to anchor somewhere, it might not be a wise choice. Even if you think you're set, reset if you know the storm's coming from a different direction.
Well, you have to be vigilant. So on the video, you saw me changing out our snubber line during the day. That was me being vigilant. That was me watching stuff. And the line I pulled off, it was a little chafed. It might have been okay, but it might not have.
Yeah.
And Murphy's Law says, hey, if it's going to break, it's going to break at 2 in the morning during the worst wind. So who wants to be up there trying to adjust that snubber? Well, what if the snubber breaks? No big deal. Well, then your anchor is sitting on your windlass. And then your windlass is taking the full pressure of the wind and the weight of your boat.
Can't take 40 knots of gas.
That's not smart. It's going to fail. So just
making wise choices.
Yeah, and I heard it this week was a great way to put it, was being forward thinking.
Yes.
And okay, here's what's coming. What am I going to have to deal with?
Yeah.
Speaking of forward thinking, you got to do a lot of that on a boat with anchoring, because you're gonna. If we want to go to the grocery store, you saw in that video we had to get bundled up and go to shore, and we were making choices to do stuff based on when the wind was going to come. We had to bundle up and make who was going to go, what are you going to take, can we get up on plane coming back, or we're going to get soaking wet coming back, taking a change of clothes with you before you go. All things like that, you really got to think about it. Normally on land.
Well, and checking the weather, like, is there a storm coming?
All the time.
So if there's a storm coming, we need to be prepared ahead of time, or we don't go and we just eat what we have, or Chris didn't go into work one day because he's like, I can't leave my wife and kids alone on the boat.
In these conditions. If there was an issue.
People are dragging and dealing with crap. I can't leave my family. So there's situations that you just have to see coming and just make wise choices.
Yeah.
Think ahead.
Yep.
And then as we're living in the Keys and everything, another question is, do we have a car on land? Yes, we have 2 cars actually, and that was our Achilles heel with living on anchor, I would say.
Especially in the Florida Keys, it is not very liveaboard friendly or even cruiser friendly for people who are on anchor. If you can afford a dock or you can find dock space, the Keys are great. If you're just passing through and you're staying for like a day or so, they're okay as far as being able to ding into a restaurant but that's few and far between. You got to do a lot of research. There is dinghy facilities in Key West and Marathon, but they're full. They're not nice.
It's a bunch of trashy boats, and that's part of the reason why a lot of the rest of the Keys don't want that, because of the type, in general, the type of person that gets gravitated towards living on a rundown boat floating on anchor. So yeah, we do have a car. We found a place that would let us park a car and dinghy back and forth. And that's difficult to find here.
And we very much appreciate it.
We do.
And we don't share that publicly because it's kind of like a wink deal.
I'm not
we're not going to ruin that. So.
I don't want you other boaters ruining that for me.
Yeah.
That being said, you go to the Bahamas, and they're set up for that. Yeah. So as you're cruising through the Bahamas, they know that a lot of their traffic comes from people dinghy up. So they have dinghy docks. They don't charge for it. They provide access, and they put them by places that you need to get to. That's one of the things that makes Georgetown so appealing, is it's so easy to anchor there and get all the services you need. There are other islands as well that have that as well, but we spent a lot of time in Georgetown just for that reason. So it's not everywhere that it's like that. And my understanding is, where do people like West Palm or
West Palm and Peck Lake?
Yeah, those are a couple other places that people who we know that live aboard, they really enjoy it. And we asked them why. Because services are available and there's people around. So I hope that helps. Stuff to think about if you're wanting to go live on anchor. You got to think through that stuff, and it's more effort. It really is more effort.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Depends on you. For us, it is. We like it. So in our upcoming videos, we're going to talk about
the cost and maintenance of living on a boat. We did a video a couple years ago. I'll put the link here, but that's outdated information because so much has changed in 2 years. So the month of February and January, we're going to kind of compile our exact costs of maintenance and living on our boat, and we will share those with you. So look for that coming up in a few weeks.
If you got any other questions you'd like us to address from our AFT, please put those in the comments or message us on one of the social media platforms. We really appreciate you guys watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And remember,
enjoy the journey.